What is up, Bridge the Blue crew? Hope you guys are doing amazing. Man, this Saturday was pretty off the hook.
It was incredible.
Yeah, this Saturday, just,
You know, and I didn't know how incredible it was until later in the day.
Yeah.
Because
well, it's hard to focus on that whenever, you're live and in the middle of it.
Well, man, we started getting photos and testimonies and videos of marches around, or not marches, but of rallies around the country.
Yeah.
And it was pretty incredible. I mean, there was some places that there was two cities that I know of, smaller communities that had one person.
And that's incredible, actually.
I thought it was incredible, actually.
Yeah.
So, and I'm so honored and proud of you two people that did that, because you are an example of what it takes.
Absolutely.
They are. It's no matter what the circumstances look like, they were willing to go out and be the only ones there that weren't willing to be silent anymore. And I think that was just amazing. You honored the community. You honored law enforcement. You honored America by doing it. You did. Yeah, come on.
Guts.
I agree.
It takes courage.
I agree.
Because we also had, if I remember correctly, we had a couple of locations that had a gathering in the thousands.
Oh, there were several of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So several of them, and I mean that's incredible because we were watching some of the news footage and other footage that was sent in to us, and you got the camera out there watching, and it's just people coming, coming, and coming, and coming, and I mean it's just amazing. It's awesome, because one of the reasons it's not just amazing because people showed up. It's amazing because this was done in a 3-week time period.
Oh, yeah.
Well, just a hair over 3 weeks, like 3.5 weeks, somewhere in there. But the people got the word out the best they could and responded and activated.
Yeah.
They made it happen because I want to again kind of go over how that structure was done. And for this first one, there wasn't enough time to put it together to the quality and to the level that we like to do things. I mean, that's just the truth. And that's not a knock on anything. That's just reality. There wasn't enough time. Okay. Yeah. But I will say that so many people step up to the plate. They locked arms, okay, with us, with others, and made things happen in an extremely small amount of time.
And you know what else fired me up, man? This really fired me up. So every time I see a pro law enforcement rally, all we see is, back the blue, back the blue, back the blue. You know what I saw this time?
People's mindsets changing.
I saw bridge the blue.
Yeah.
Bridge the blue, bridge the blue.
Yep.
And that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk about today was, is there a difference between back the blue and bridge the blue? And if there is, what is that difference? Because I think that is super important.
Yep. And we've talked about it a few times before. But the truth of the matter is that the group and both within this group and the people outside of the Silent No More group is growing so fast.
Oh, yeah.
That we got to keep going back to that because it's a fundamental thing that we have to make sure we're all on the same page. So why don't you go ahead and explain it this time?
Whew, I'm on the spot. Yeah, so here's the thing about back the blue or bridge the blue, and it's not really one versus another. It's one and the other. And so bridge the blue is all about backing the blue, but it's also about backing community, right? Because bridge the blue is all about bridging that gap. And for those of you that are new to our Bridge the Blue Silent No More community, over the years, what we've seen is a narrative that has just been all over social media. It's been all over the weapons of mass distraction, otherwise known as the mainstream media. And there's this narrative that has been created that's been detrimental to the law enforcement community. And by the hundreds, good officers are retiring early. They're choosing other professions because they don't want to deal with a lot of the stuff that they're dealing with today. I mean, I've seen so many videos of violence against police officers, and it breaks my heart because that's someone's mother or father. That's someone's daughter or son. That's someone's aunt or uncle or cousin or brother or sister. Or husband or wife. And so if we're really going to see a change, right, we can't just blindly back the blue, because we 100% agree that 99% of law enforcement out there are good officers. But I challenge you to ask one of those good officers and ask them, how do you feel about that 1%? And every time they'll say, we want them gone. And so if we're really going to bridge this divide, if we're going to bridge this gap, we can't just be one-sided and just be like back the blue and then get all militant and get all upset and ticked off and get triggered emotionally, which we're seeing a lot of. If we're going to really bridge this gap, we have to get away from the thinking that led us here to begin with. The whole reason we're here is because there's communities of people getting triggered and they're not listening to logic. And if we react the same way, are we any better?
Not really.
We're not any better. So if we're going to bridge the gap, we have to, and Troy, you said something on Saturday that I thought was super, super powerful. But before I jump to that, let me just remind everybody, right? We don't just back the blue. We want to bridge the blue. So we want to challenge you. We want to encourage you that whenever you share anything, whenever you go to one of our rallies, which we have some exciting stuff coming up, I'm going to let you share that stuff because there's some of it I know you don't want to share, and I know, and I'm like chomping at the bit, but I'm going to honor you in that.
You're good.
So whenever you are sharing any of our posts, we want to challenge you, or whenever you're sharing anything that's pro law enforcement period, we want to encourage you to use hashtag bridge the blue. Use hashtag silent no more. And if you also want to use hashtag back the blue, that's totally okay as well. But we can't forget about this gap that we're trying to bridge. We can't forget about this large chasm that exists. Because, and this is where I wanted to go into this, is you said something that was so powerful.
Tell me what it was.
You said something that was so powerful on Saturday, man. And that was that you actually want, and it's not just you, this is the heartbeat of our entire organization. We want to sit down at the table with those that don't agree. And we want to have those hard conversations. Yep. We want to exercise empathy. We want to not sit across the table from somebody, but to sit next to them side by side and say, I want to hear your perspective. Yep. What have your experiences been? What is that lens through which you see the world? Help me to see through it so I can better understand where you're coming from. That's how you build bridges, not getting combative, not arguing, not being triggered emotionally. We have to start thinking logically. So yes, we can look at the facts. We can look at truth. But I've said this several times, that the truth spoken outside of love, okay, hear me here. The truth spoken outside of love can be just as damaging as a lie. So anyways, that was a long explanation, but I just felt like it was so important because I just want to encourage you guys, use the hashtag bridge the blue. That's what we're all about. And if you don't align with our heartbeat, that's okay. Stick around in our community. Maybe eventually that'll change. But if you choose not to, we're not going to be offended as you excuse yourself out of the group. The one thing that we don't want is we don't want disruption in this group because let's face it, man, we got a country to save. We don't have time for that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
So
we got to meet on the foundation.
Yeah.
We got to meet on the foundational principles.
Unity in the essentials and liberty in the non-essentials.
I've said it over and over, and I'll say it over and over again. We all have different upbringings. We all have different experiences that create different lenses, okay? That create different beliefs, that create, and that's, some would say, oh, Lord, so many different people, etc. But diversity can be beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
It can be beautiful, even my family, I have a family that's a little bit diverse, we have an adopted child that I absolutely love to the top of the mountain, man. She is incredible. She's been in our home for roughly almost 13 and a half years or something like that. And she's a different nationality.
Yeah.
She's got different color skin, etc. But we don't look at that, All we see is a beautiful young lady who's absolutely incredible. And, I want us all to just kind of come to the table like that, willing to look at the person and be across the table from that person, whether, whoever it is, and just hear who they are and what they bring to the table and what their heart is. And, where can they receive some healing? Where can we receive some healing? Because move forward together as a country.
Yeah, because we've said this on numerous occasions, is that hurt people, what do?
They hurt other people.
They hurt other people.
Yeah.
And if we don't figure out a way to meet that person where they're at, and I don't mean to get churchy up in here. I don't mean to get churchy up in here. But sorry, man.
But you're going to.
I'm so silly. So, man, if you think about what Jesus did, dude, Jesus didn't ask us to come up to his level. What did he do? He made himself, God made himself a human being. He came down to our level.
Yeah, the foundation.
And that's what he met us where we were at.
Yeah.
And so if the word Christian means to be Christ-like, right? And we're not saying you have to be a Christian to be part of this group. That's not what we're saying here. But just us, and what we believe, God is one of our core values. We believe that the majority of this country still believes in God. And so if we really believe that, and the word Christian means to be Christ-like, and it was actually a derogatory term, it meant little Christ. But if the word Christian means to be Christ-like, and we're not operating in the same grace, the same love, and we're not operating and walking the way that Christ did, what does that really say about us?
Yeah.
And if Jesus is willing to come down from heaven and meet us where we're at, and not only come down from heaven, and this is, I'm going to get churchy. Yes, I'm going to stay churchy for a second. God loved this filth down here so much that he bankrupted heaven for it. He bankrupted heaven for you and me. And if God's willing to do that, how much are we willing to follow suit to see healing and restoration in this country? How much are we willing to follow suit to meet people where they're at and to see healing and restoration on a personal level in their lives? Because we know that it starts at home. It starts at home. It starts with the person. It starts with the individual.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I'm going to turn off my church mode for the rest of the video here.
I'll go on to say that there's a fight that we need to take right now.
Yep.
There's a fight, and we can win this fight. I really believe that. So I so believe that the silent majority is just the majority by far in this country that all believe on the same foundational principles and so forth. So, from that point, each house is a little different. But the foundation is, for the most part, I believe is the same. But I do believe that there's a fight that we have to take here, and we have to bear arms, whatever way that looks. Sometimes it's rallying up and everybody coming together and showing the power of force and the power of numbers and the power of committed U.S. citizens, Sometimes it's going to be simply putting your arm around someone and just sharing love with them.
Come on.
Sometimes it's going to be going to the Capitol and demanding to be heard.
Wow.
I was told today, I had someone call me, one of many, that they weren't allowed to. Well, they were asked not to have a rally in the city because the leader of the law enforcement agency there felt like it wasn't needed because the law enforcement officers knew that they were supported to one degree and that it would end up costing them more to facilitate that rally than it would help in that person's eyes, And I was just I was saddened with that, to be honest, Do I believe that a large portion of law enforcement officers understand that we support them, and their communities behind them? I think a large portion does understand that, but I think there's another huge portion that don't. And that's why they're turning in their badges right now.
And even to that point, do they understand? Maybe on an unconscious level, they understand. But it's kind of like the illusory effect. Okay, and I know we've talked about this before, and I want to look up the illusory effect. But whenever our Leos they might know in the back of their head that the majority of people support them. But whenever they're constantly bombarded with all of the negative media, and they're constantly bombarded with all the stuff on social media, and then they see, we have Leos that are in more safer communities, but they see what's going on in other parts and other regions of the country. They see people throwing Coke bottles and rocks and stuff at the police, and the police can't do anything. That wears on you after a while. Once that narrative and you've had so much exposure to that. There comes a point in time where you just is that really how it is? Am I really supported?
Well, and to the other side of it, what I don't think this leader of this police department realizes is this isn't just a battle for the LEOs to understand they're supported. It goes far beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I'm coming from, in a sense that, some of them do understand that, some of them don't understand it and see it, but that they're supported and they need to see it. But the fight is much bigger than that. And in order for us to take back this country like we need to, we've got to get others to see it too.
Come on.
And hear it and experience it and da-da-da-da-da. There's so much that needs to happen. That again, that's why I was kind of saddened, with that, because he wasn't seeing the full picture of what's going on. But I believe there is so many people out there right now that are seeing the big picture, that are understanding that it's time for us to rise up. We can't just keep sitting back on the couch and watching this on the news and not doing anything, because we are slowly sinking as a country. And there is going to be no country for us, for our kids, for our grandkids, if we don't do something now. This is the time. This is the time.
Yeah.
And I keep saying that, and I will keep saying that.
Come on.
This is the time for the American people to stand up and fight for our beliefs, fight for this country that is slowly being trying to be taken away from us. Okay? And I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say it and go to socialism and liberalism and so forth, taking those freedoms away more and more and more. And again, I'm not trying to be political bound necessarily here with that statement, but I am saying this involves politics to a degree, even though we're trying to keep a lot of the politics out of the conversations. And just to expand on that a little bit, the reason we're keeping those politics out of the conversations on our group is because there's a lot of people that can't filter what needs to be filtered when other people are sharing their opinions and so forth.
Come on.
It's not the place to do jabs. Okay. Do I think that there is some conversations that could be had in another setting? Yes.
Come on.
Very much so. Very much so. And I invite those conversations to happen. They need to happen. But is it a place on Facebook in a group where words are written and translated however the other person on the other end translates them through the glasses and the experiences that they've had? Okay? So what one person means to say and is trying to say can be translated into 55,000 different languages, okay? Because they all have different experiences and different, and so forth. So that's why we're trying to keep that side of things out of the group for the most part, okay? And I just want everybody to really understand that, because I know people are trying to put stuff in, and honestly, I want to put stuff in. I am very strong about how I believe.
And I promise you, our moderation team, God bless our moderation team. We wouldn't be where we're at today without them. We would be lost in this group without our moderation team. So shout out to you guys. But our moderation team wants to, like, sometimes we see posts, and I'm sure you see them.
Yeah, we're like, yes!
We're like, oh, I want to post this so bad, but no.
That's not the mission right now.
That's not the mission. No.
So, so I hope you all understand that. So, moving on from there right now, again, I always want to back up a little bit and say thank you, everybody.
Yes.
This last Saturday was a huge success.
Yeah.
Huge success.
Blew me away.
I believe the amount of people that showed up on the steps of whatever city they went to across this country made a huge statement. Matter of fact, if you Google Bridge the Blue on Google and just look at everything that comes up, you're going to see a ton of news reports from across the country,
which was very unexpected.
Most say that you're not going to get that. But you know what? I was and I know I'm getting off track here a little bit, I was blown away. It wasn't last night, I don't think. I think it was the night before. I sat down and was going to watch the news on the channel we normally watch it. There was a show that went late, and so they didn't air it, on time. So I changed to a different channel. And on that channel, the news was calling out things that is part of that narrative that's not true. And I was just shocked. My wife and I looked at each other and like, did they just say that? So on one hand, the reason I say it is I think even people in the news media, for the most part, are getting sick and tired of it.
Yeah. Yep.
They're ready to say no more. And I think some of their hands are tied, I mean, one of my companies that I own, we deal a lot with news media, protecting them and so forth when they go places. And, so we get to hear them a lot. And sometimes they are frustrated, very frustrated. And I'll hear them come back sometimes and talk. And sometimes I remember a couple of discussions, they went and would interview these people at these riots and so forth, and they'd ask them why, a simple basic question, why are you here rioting today? And it's baffling how many wouldn't even know why they were there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, there's a video I watched. So I actually watched it, and so I watched a couple of things last night that were, you know how much I love Brandon Tatum. And I was watching an interview from Brandon Tatum from London. But before that video, and Brandon Tatum, such an awesome guy, police officer for 6.5 years, Black American, super smart, knows history, just amazing guy. And I highly recommend you YouTube him, Google him, Brandon Tatum. So before that though, I was watching a news article about I totally just lost it. I totally just lost what I was about to say. See, that's how you know this is live, unfiltered and unscripted. Yeah. Like you're not going to see.
It's just real.
You're not going to see our head this way and then all of a sudden jerk over here because we cut the. So it might come back to me.
Well, let me just finish. With this. I back to you can see all the news media about the rallies and stuff that happened this Saturday. I believe that a lot of those news medias are ready to be silent no more. I just believe that some of them have their hands tied by networks and uppity-ups and so forth. I'll just call it. But we've met a lot of great journalists and news reporters just in the last couple of weeks that have done wonderful stories and news reports on what's going on and why we're doing it and so forth. And so I give them kudos too. If you were one of those news medias or reporters, I just say thank you for reporting the truth and for standing up for our LEOs and so forth across this country and locking arms with us. So, but to you that showed up, thanks again. You guys made the difference and gals made the difference and are making the difference. There was a lot of people that tuned in. Not a huge amount of people. Quite a few, but not a huge amount that I wanted to see tuned in for the live event. But for whatever reason. But since then, watching it after the fact, there has been a lot of people watching it across the country and beyond. So thank you for supporting that and so forth. I will say that we haven't come close to the numbers that we wanted to see as far as money raised, for LEOs yet. We still got several days left in the month of July. But we really need people to step up to the plate, everybody. There's been some great people stepping up to the plate.
Oh, absolutely.
And making donations and so forth. We can turn around and put that back into those areas that we support, which you can see all those on our bridgetheblue.com website. I encourage you to go there if you haven't gone there and look up those things that we spend that money on and so forth that you're helping support. So, but we really want to make a loud noise.
Yes.
Okay. We want to make a very loud noise during the month of July and going forth, but especially right now by raising as much money as we can to support those LEOs and agencies across the country. So even today we've had more emails come in from small agencies needing help. And we can only when you read the one shared with you earlier, but we can only do so much. We need people to step up to the plate more and more and more and help make this happen for these guys and gals, okay? Because it's a lot of just basic stuff, and they don't have it.
And as a nonprofit, we can only give and we can only do as much as is supported by you. By we the people. A nonprofit is just that. We don't sell things. We don't have a product. We're not trying to innovate, right? Everything that we do, we're doing for a cause. We're doing for a reason. And so the great thing about it is that it's not a one-way relationship, right? It's not a one-way relationship where like if we were a for-profit company, we're going to take your money and then we're going to do whatever we want with it. It's literally you partner with us by donating, and then in turn you're part of something bigger than you. Whenever we announce a new department, for example, that got 500 new vests, you get to know that I was a part of that.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that for a second. I want to talk about legacy. And we can do a whole video on legacy, but I just want to just a 30,000 foot overview of legacy for a second. Legacy is whenever you build something that outlives you. And my question to you, Blue Crew, is what kind of legacy do you want to leave for our nation, for your kids, your grandkids? That's what we're talking about here. It's being part of something that's bigger than you, and also being part of something and building something that's going to outlive you. Okay, and so
yeah, right on. Well, hey, let's transfer into another chapter here. What's it look like going forward? We've been getting calls and emails and messages and so forth all day and night from people all over the country, and that is not an exaggeration.
Nope.
We don't have near the staff.
It's hard to keep up with
with everything. We are trying to answer the questions. We're trying to get the information out there as quickly as possible, but I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke. It's not easy because there's so many requests. But I want to go over just a few things on what we're trying to do. And part of that, or what we're trying to do, is get information out to you. Some people are asking some of the basic questions. Well, how can I be silent no more? What's that look like for me, as an individual in Timbuktu or whatever,
Where isn't that where you're from there in Nebraska?
Kansas, thank you.
Kansas, that's what I meant.
Born and raised in Kansas.
Sorry.
And by the way, those of you who have ever lived there or currently live there, I love my home state. I love my home state, and I always will. Matter of fact, I go back every chance I get because, I just love the state of Kansas. It's so beautiful. Some people say, oh my gosh, it's so flat here. It's beautiful.
It's Tornado Alley. That's where you're from.
That's,
Come on, Dorothy.
So, you know how many times I've heard that over the years? Matter of fact, that was one of my favorite shows, so you can stop there.
Okay, Toto.
We're trying to put packages or product together that you can download, that you can have for free, that you can whatever that looks like, that you can duplicate on your side. But also suggestions of ways that you can go out and make a difference.
Yes.
Right now, today, even this evening. We're trying to make a list of those and spell it out for you. Super simple, just creative ways that you can be part of that silent majority, stepping out and not being silent anymore. There's a whole bunch of ways that we've come up with, but also others have sent to us, hey, here's an idea. Which, by the way, if you've got a great idea, we encourage you, send it to us. Send it to us, because this is a team effort. This isn't all about what Bridge the Blue is doing, okay, and the campaign Silent No More. It's about the American people standing up and locking arms together.
Amen. Come on.
And and we're talking clear down to the foundational level of this, okay? So if you've got ideas, you got suggestions, feel free. Send them into us. We're going to respond to you as quickly as possible. But we need to hear from you, because you've got different ideas than what we do. You've got different thoughts, and some of those are better than what we're going to come up with. So please be part of the team by sending that stuff in, okay? So we got that stuff coming up. We've got events coming up that we're going to be announcing. I did announce on the live stream that we were going to be in Missouri on August 23rd. And it's going to be a great event. Was on the phone for quite a while today, just talking with a couple of the people out there that's helping build that. I'm going to be out there next week, helping put a few things together, and myself, and I don't know, maybe Lee will come with me. But
I would love to.
But we'll be there working on that one. We've got a big one that we're planning here in the Houston metro area. And that one's going to be on September 11th, 9/11. It's going to be a super event. Very excited about it. And then there's other events that people have been asking us to help them facilitate and produce in different areas around the country. We're helping with those as much as we can, as fast as we can. But please know, everybody, this isn't something that's going to happen overnight.
No.
We can have we had an amazing weekend this last weekend on Saturday and so forth, and we made a huge step forward. But there's a lot of steps to climb yet.
Yeah.
There's a huge road to go down yet, and it's not going to happen overnight. So what we need to do is we need to continue to rally up and rally together and build this as we move down this road. So just bear with us. Be part of the team. Be part of the solution. Not the problem, as we've already talked about, and let's do this together. But so we got those things that are coming up. We're going to be introducing a not a platform. I'm trying to think of the word, but a roundtable discussion process that we're going to begin to open up and have roundtable discussions with both sides of the fence.
I'm excited about that.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
We're trying to put it together in a way that everybody is safe and everybody understands, why they're at the table. And see what we can do around the country as we start having these roundtable events. I personally think it's going to be beautiful. Could it be a huge pain in my backside? Sorry. It could be. It could be. Is everything going to go perfect? Probably not. But we've got to start. We've got to start somewhere. And I believe that the process we're looking at is going to be very cool. And it opens up the platform for the discussion to happen that people have been calling for, So it opens that door. So we're excited about that. We are going to be reaching out to as many of you as possible over this next season of time, which I'm referring to in the next several weeks, because in October, we are going to do our next nationwide rally, okay? And it's going to look a little different than it did this time because we've got a little bit more time.
A lot more seamless.
Okay. a lot more seamless for you on your end, and more seamless on our end as well. And so we'll begin to explain that over the next week or two, how that's going to look, what it's going to look like, how people can begin to put the word out there, because we want to start now.
Yep.
We want to start as soon as possible. Hopefully in the next 5 or 6 days, we'll be able to release some of that process and start getting the word out there to rally up on this specific day in October across the country at these locations with these people as location captains, so on and so forth. The material for you to publish it, the PSAs to get out to your news media, etc. All of that is going to be put in place for you to make it super simple. And to me, that's super exciting. And again, it's just another step.
And here's what's exciting about that, brother, is that if we were able to do what we did Saturday, and when I say we, I don't mean we, I mean we, this includes you.
That's right.
If we were able to do just in 3 weeks, three and a half, well, actually, it's been about 3 weeks because we had the group for almost a week before we made the announcement.
Yeah.
So if we were able to do what we've done in 3 weeks, can you imagine with the time and the planning what October is going to look like?
Yeah. Come on.
Right. So instead of just having a couple of thousand at one location,
yeah, it's going to be good.
It's going to be, it's going to be epic.
Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah. So we're super excited about it. So
yeah.
Just wanted to put some of those things out there to you today, just to let you know that we've got a lot of things coming up. There's a lot of different angles of things we're working on. It isn't one of those things where you can just do one thing. Just rallies isn't going to work. Rallies. They are key. They are hugely important, and we need everybody at them. But there's several other components that we need to do too. And there's things that we haven't even mentioned yet, because we don't want to just blow everybody's minds, with too much information.
We don't want them to get analysis paralysis.
So there's things that we got to do. Okay. There's steps that we got to take to tackle each one of these areas that we need to tackle. So I want to thank you again for being part of the team. We couldn't do this and wouldn't want to do it without you. This is a team effort. We the people, silent no more. So that's all I've got today. Just wanted to, more than anything, say thank you for stepping up to the plate. I encourage you to continue to invite people to the team, to the Silent No More group,
yes,
so that they can be getting the updates. I invite you to make sure and go in and sign up, and so that you can get in. Lee can explain that a little bit more to you, but so you can get all the updates, emails sent to you as things are changing, as we're moving forward with all of this. And so why don't you go ahead and speak that part out?
Yeah, so like Troy said, continue to invite people to the community. And so at the very top of the group, there's a blue invite button. You hit that invite button, you can invite everybody that shares the same heartbeat that we do, that loves the law enforcement, that loves God, loves family, and loves this country, loves the United States of America. So you can do that. Also, if you missed the event, because we've had several thousand people join since Saturday, if you missed it and you want to make sure that you're first to know, right? You want to make sure that you're first in line to get all of the exciting news, because we're releasing updates, every few days we're releasing updates. You want to go to bridgetheblue.com/silent no more. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to get put on the waiting list to hear first about the stuff that's upcoming, right? You're going to have access first. Okay, so bridgetheblue.com/silent no more. You're also going to get access to the replay of the live stream on Saturday. And so when you watch that replay, I encourage you to watch it on YouTube. If you have a smart TV, watch it on YouTube, and go get some popcorn, get some soda, and get some coffee.
Popcorn sounds good.
And maybe nachos. I'm a nachos guy, because Texas, and let's talk about nachos.
Let's not.
I love tacos. So I encourage you to do that. And then I also want to let you guys know that the announcement was made earlier that we do have our shirts on sale once again. So you want to make sure that you go grab your shirts before we sell out again, because we sold out pretty quickly this last time. It's bridgetheblue.com/shirts. bridgetheblue.com/shirts. I know it's complicated, but again, bridgetheblue.com/shirts. You can go ahead and get yours ordered.
And I'll tell you, we probably will be sold out in the next 48 hours. So.
Yeah. So now I do want to take a moment and I want to talk about our Facebook community. And for those of you that don't know, we are here on Facebook, so make sure you go like our page. We are also on Twitter, so go follow us. Our Twitter handle is Bridge the Blue. And we are on Instagram, and we are on YouTube. So I want to encourage you to connect with us on those other accounts as well. But I want to talk a little bit about the community really quick. And so, we had a staff meeting yesterday morning, and we talked a little bit about this stuff. And I just want to make sure that, and this kind of piggybacks off of earlier on in this episode here, is that this group, okay, I want to kind of explain to you what our moderator team looks at. We look at posts that you guys are wanting to post in the group, and we ask ourselves, how is this going to make people feel? Is this going to make people feel anger and rage? And if so, we don't let them through. The other thing that we look at is this post political? Is it pushing a political agenda? Whether it's a conservative agenda or a liberal agenda. If it is, then we don't push it through. There's been a lot of patriotic posts that we have not allowed to be pushed through, and pro-law enforcement stuff. And what's funny, Troy, is I saw someone wrote a beautiful post, and at the very end of it, they spoke negatively of someone that was on the opposite end of the table politically than they were. And I had to decline it. I couldn't allow it to be posted. And I want to make sure that I explain that's not because we're trying to silence you, right? We're not about trying to silence you. It's just that
very opposite.
It's the exact opposite. But see, you can post that stuff publicly on your own page, but here inside the group, we have a mission. And our mission as Bridge the Blue is to defend truth, be vocal, and stand united. Okay, how are we going to stand united if we're posting things that are tearing down people that believe differently than you? Okay, and our vision, for those of you that don't know, our vision is to make America safe again by bridging the gap between law enforcement and community. Everything that our organization stands for is about unity. It's about seeing unity. It's about seeing healing and restoration in this nation. And I mean, that's at the forefront of everything that we're doing. That's why, as Bridge the Blue, we're so passionate about this gap between law enforcement and community, because without law and order, we're trashed.
We're chaos.
Exactly. And so I want to make sure that you guys understand that. Please do not share other groups in this group. Don't promote other groups in this group. Don't promote other events that are not official Bridge the Blue events. Don't promote other pages. And here's why. Okay, it's not because on a personal level we may not support them. The reason why is because we have to protect what we're doing. If we have not officially vetted the other communities, okay, I want you to imagine this. Here we are, Bridge the Blue, pro-law enforcement, pro-community. We're trying to bridge the gap. Someone that one of you posts something in the group, we allow it to be pushed through. And today it's pro-law enforcement. Today it's very constructive. So a bunch of people from our group go join that group. But tomorrow it turns into something completely different. And all of a sudden it's like, how did you hear about this community? Oh, Bridge the Blue. Well, Bridge the Blue must advocate for this group because they referred me. That we can't do that. We have to protect. I mean, we're working way too hard to bridge this gap. We have to protect what it is that we're trying to do. And so we do not allow other groups. We don't allow other products that you're trying to sell. We don't allow that to be posted in the group unless it has been approved officially by Bridge the Blue. And again, it's for the same, for the reason why we don't allow products to be promoted is because we're a nonprofit. Right? I mean, if we just think about it logically, not that we don't support other organizations, but see, Bridge the Blue vets other organizations, and we strategically partner with other organizations, and we funnel money to them. So why would we want to funnel money away from us and away from the cause to something that doesn't align with our heartbeat, right? So I just wanted to kind of share some of that stuff from a community perspective, right? This community, and I'm going to get harsh for a second. If I see you calling people idiots in the comments under somebody's post, if I see you talking derogatory about somebody, there is no 3 strikes, you're out, you're gone. We have worked too hard to allow anybody on whatever side you're on. You may support law enforcement, but your rhetoric is divisive. And if I see that, you're gone. Okay? And so, because I believe that the majority, I would probably say about 98% of people in here, they share our heartbeat, man.
Oh, yeah.
They share our heartbeat. But that 1% to 2% that doesn't, when I see you, I saw somebody on a post yesterday, were calling for shooting of protesters. Shoot the protesters. Like inciting
really
violence,
things, doesn't it?
Inciting violence will not be tolerated here. Period. I don't care what side of the fence that you're on. I don't care if you've donated money to us. I don't care if you bought a t-shirt from us. If you incite violence, you're gone. Period. End of story. Do not pass $200 as you pass go. We'll take it. Okay. But I want to encourage you, if you're seeing that going on, report those posts, report those comments. And sometimes there are some posts that slip between the cracks. Okay. Now, one other thing that I definitely want to mention here is the difference between protesting and rioting. I want to set an official precedent here. There's a difference between protesting peacefully and then rioting. We are being very careful not to let posts that show protesters that are actually protesting as they're rioting and calling them rioters, because they're not. And on the flip side, there are people that are rioting, that are being violent, that are being destructive, but many people are calling them protesters. Those two are not mutually exclusive, right? Those two things are not the same. So there is protesting, which is peaceful, and we support, even if we don't agree with what someone's protesting about, but the rioting absolutely has to stop. So I want to encourage you, be careful, be mindful that you're not calling protesters rioters and you're not calling rioters protesters, okay? And so those are just some community housekeeping things. I didn't mean to drag it down, but these are just... Don't make me tickle you, man. Your wife might get mad. Like, but it's important. I mean, we're going to have to address these things. We're going to have these hard conversations sometimes. Not because I don't love you or Troy doesn't love you, but it's because we do love you. We love you enough to let you know that we're going to protect what we have going on here. Because, like I said earlier, we have a country to save. We don't have time. So anyways, so that's all that I got. That's basically the loose ends that I wanted to make sure that I shored up today.
Right on. All right. Well, we're going to go for now. Just know we appreciate you, love you, support you. And again, shoot us your information, shoot us your ideas. We value all of it.
Yes.
Very much so. And if you're interested in being a captain in your state, helping facilitate some of the rallies that are going to be coming up in October in your area, or maybe even sooner, would you please email us, message us, etc. Let us know, because again, we really need to lock arms and be a team as we do move forward with this. Okay. Absolutely. All right. Appreciate y'all.
Love you guys.
Have a great night.
God bless.